G'day viewers and welcome back to SingleRacer. My name is Michael. Now both this video and the last video were totally unplanned. I did have a video in the works and that hopefully should be my next one. But as I'm a bit weird, bit OCD, you know, I like a set of 3 videos, and my last 2 videos were both tributes. So I thought I would do the same with this one to round it out nicely and have a nice set of 3. Now, the first video was a tribute to Humble George for his fantastic modding and editing skills. He's a genius when it comes to those things, although he says he's still learning, but I'm always impressed with what he manages to do. The other one, the previous one, was a tribute to Mike Smith at Sim Racing 604. He does those fantastic F1 videos, but he also does videos on Automobilista and Race Room, which are fantastic as well. So I thought I'd round out the set with this one, which is essentially a tribute to Alex over at the Extra Mile. Now, the reason for this tribute is actually because he has done a few videos recently online using Nordschleife, and I've been studying him quite a bit because I'm still trying to learn if there's anything I can improve on that track. And I must admit I picked up 2 just very small tips, but they're tips nonetheless, and I have got a bit faster. Now, the reason for this video is actually that, in a sense, it combines 2 things that I've been saying about Nordschleife in the one video. Now, what happens is I go out and race with this random person in front of me, and the main thing about this video is my technique, which is the slow in, the fast out. So what this video shows is not only how that works in the sense that the car in front of me is much quicker in a straight line, but I used the principle of balanced in, where I set up the car, and every single time we get to a corner I end up catching him. And to be quite honest, I usually have to brake and hold myself back, because at times I could have overtaken him, but don't do that. Don't do it deliberately, to show that difference between what is great corner great corner exit speed to just overall speed. And now that's the second reason for showing this video, is I wanted to make it clear to people as a next step to my 3 tutorials on the Nordschleife, that you can have a very fast car, but if you don't pick a car where it's good overall, you can often be slower overall. So what you'll see in this video is how many times he pulls away from me in the straight because he's got more speed. But that speed doesn't translate, because you want, or you'd prefer, a car that has a good overall speed. So I end up catching him, and what happens as we finish our laps, he never actually beats my times. So even though he has the faster car, I want to use this as a demo to show that what you'd want is actually a better overall car that can handle both the straights and the corners, and that's what I hope to prove with this video. So let me show you the 2 cars that were involved, and then we'll move on to the hot lap. And so when I race online, it's 99% of the time on the Nordschleife. I just love that track. It's just such a challenging track. But there are usually 2 groups of servers that I join. The first one is usually the high performance one that has all the GT2 and GT3 cars. And then there's usually a Japanese pack version, which my go-to car is this one, the Mazda MX5 CUP car, which is essentially a race version of the road car. And it's a beautifully balanced smooth car to drive. I wish I actually had one of these cars in real life, the normal road version of this car, but just such a beautiful car and balanced car. Now, it can be seem a little slow in the straights, but it's that overall balance that makes me catch a lot of cars up in the corners, especially the second half of the Nordschleife, which is a lot of corners. So that brings me back to the fold in the end. So let's check out now the opposition's car. And so this is what my opponent chose to drive. It's a Nissan Skyline GTR V-spec. Now, in the hands of someone as skilled as Alex from the Extra Mile, this would absolutely romp all over me. But in a way, that's kind of my point. Without being nasty to the person driving this car, I often feel online that people are driving cars that are above their ability, and I feel that they're suffering from it, because what tends to happen is they might crash 7 out of 10 times, and as a sim racer I don't feel that that's doing them any good. So often it's the case that you're better off with a slower car, but one that will let you finish the track more often, and that way you work up to it. Now, an example of that is 5 years ago I would never have attempted to drive the Corvette C7R. It just would have been way too above me. But as my ability improved with this channel because of my constant racing, I then decided, oh, I've never driven this car, let's give it a go. But it was still initially a bit difficult, but it's a great handling car, and I just worked my way up to it and improved my times. But so that's the lesson in the video I want to show you now, which is to be balanced in so that you can improve your speed out of the corners, but also to select a car that is more within your capabilities. You can choose. Now, if I go out of here as an example, you can see the specs and the speed and everything of that car, and you can choose the car that's right for you based on a better weight to power ratio and things like that. So I guess from that point of view, there's nothing more to do except show you the hot lap. So let's go racing.